Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode on the CFT podcast. Where prior to the last 3 weeks, CFT standard for corner flag talk, but CFT the last 3 weeks has actually stood for come for therapy, which is what has been conducted on this podcast for the last 3 weeks. Where each week somebody new had to experience a therapy session. So I am here, Doctor John Mungle, on behalf of the team to conduct therapy for the Liverpool fan who is returning for this first weekend wrapped up of the season. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Euan. Euan, thank you for being here. Thank you for making the time.
Thank you for having
How
me.
are you,
Thank
my
you for
guy?
having me. Doctor, I'll tell you, it's been a tough year. Yeah, I should have been on the podcast more, but unfortunately, life gets in the way. Good
Yeah,
timing
yeah,
for
yeah.
life, really, because I don't really want to talk about football, as you can
Ah,
see.
ah,
But
fair enough, right?
yeah,
Guys,
no,
I,
it's
I
been
just want to
rough.
say it would have been very easy for him to pull out of this, but he stuck to his word. He was a man of his word,
And we
and
have to
here
address
he
things. We have
is.
to address things, at some point.
And things
So
have to address. Things have to address, right? So as you
yeah,
guys would
definitely,
expect,
man.
we'll do the usual. We'll do the usual format. But before we get into that, I'll let you and kind of probably just get off his chest how he's felt about his Liverpool season and stuff like that. And Brandon asked for me to mention this before, and so I'll just get it out here already. So Brandon sent me a voice note, and he essentially said, bro, if you told me at the start of the season that we'll be at game week 25 and that Brentford and Liverpool were on the same number of points, I would have assumed that Brentford were having a Leicester season. That's what he said. He said he wouldn't even assume that it would have been the other way around, that negative for Liverpool. And so that
Hey,
is just
well,
to put in
Brentford still having a
perspective.
good season,
Oh, for sure, bro. They have an insane season.
Just want to say
And
that. Yeah.
and I am so not gonna bat. Okay, take this thing given that we play them next, So
No, no,
and
you
obviously they
make
had an incredible
it's
short
already
this.
done, fam. It's already done.
Nah, all right. So guys, let's get straight into it, guys. So we're better place to start than at Anfield this weekend, right? Where Dominic Sobos like let people know that look, guys, if you thought that Lightning only strikes once, well, he can strike 4 times. Since he's been involved in 4 different free kick goals this season. The two against their main rivals this season have both come off the post to go in. I mean, that to me is the definition of unsavable for a free kick. And unfortunately, after that, Bernardo Silva clawed one back, questionable if he should have been on the field or not. And then early Haaland with a penalty following. What I think was a really shaky game all around from Allison. I thought like he
Hmm.
was very nervous throughout the game. And then there was
Because
obviously
to an extent, yeah.
drama late on into the game as well with a disallowed goal, which frankly I think anybody with 2 cents understands that it should have been disallowed. It was rightly disallowed. It was the correct decision. But yeah, so Johan, before we actually get into the game itself, bro, obviously this is the first time we've been on the pod since the decline in form. For
Yeah, boy.
context, you
Whew.
all have 6 wins in the last 5 months in the league,
Damn.
and it's not been an easy watch. So, from
No,
your
it's been
point of view,
terrible.
give us, give us how you been, how you feeling.
I'm tired, Robbie. I'm tired, Robbie. It's been, I don't know. It's been really just, I think, my haters will come out and watch this episode, John. That definitely. They'll see my face in the thumbnail. And I just say this now because I want them to, when they hear this, they'll be like, wait, I want to shout them out, But no, it's been a very it's been the worst season definitely within my living memory. I think yeah, combination we kind of looked at these transfers coming in, expected
Yeah.
everybody to go on running. It's not been the case. It's been kind of the transitional season. I think we everybody expected last season to an extent. It's
Hmm.
been poor management. It's been a situation where the back room, which I think we all kind of agree that wow, Michael Edwards coming back on and he doing his thing and whatever. It's kind of exposed the flaws to their approach as well in terms of okay, look, they spent money for the first time. I think a lot of people are like, wait, boy, look at the money Liverpool spent, and
Yeah.
yeah, you can definitely say that and is a lot of money for one window, but I think it kind of shows the lack of investment over time for us because we still come up short in certain areas. Remember, we spend however much million, 100 million in that window, but we also spend
Yeah.
that how much million across like 3 windows, right? If you
Yeah.
look at it
Yeah.
for the lack of transfers. So yeah, boy, it's been really bad, and we've seen. I think it's been good in terms of like we've seen players like Dominic Soboslai step up and really show his leadership. I think Gravenberch has been pretty good this season for what it's worth. But yeah, boy, I think I also said, and this is something I saw somebody tweet as well. Is like at the beginning of the season, given the Jota situation, everybody was kind of like, we'll as a team, you might have to give them a little bit of a blind. I saw Quivin Kelleher also said in an interview recently something similar, talking about the strength of the players needed to go through. I think that's definitely a factor. But at the end of the day, it was like, uh, I'm willing to say, a grace period or whatever, but the football still gets played at the end of the day, and it's been horrific, man. It's been uninspired. I think all the time individual moments are building us out, whether it's from Szoboszlai, from Ekitike, from Boots recently. Mo Salah hasn't been at his best season. I think Salah he allowed to be the man's a old man way. At the end of the day, he's still retire. He can retire now. He'd be one of the greatest, if not well, I think the
Yeah.
greatest winger in Premier League history. Right? So yeah, man, just it just get me to summer. Tell me what's going on. I think we should probably. I think it's time to probably get rid of Slot. I don't think he can salvage it. To be honest with you.
Well, actually, I was gonna ask you to probably zone in on that. Where did you
Mm.
think that Slot has failed the all this season?
Yeah, I just think it's one thing to say he hasn't been get. So there's two ways to look at it. I think he's kind of been left short in players, especially in the defense, right? Like we've seen Gomez and Leone get injured, Frimpong, and Bradley all get injured, and I think in January it was a no-brainer. Obviously, we signed Jeremy Jacket. We let Chelsea negotiate the deal first, and we were just like, all right, thanks. Fujit, I have to get my one off.
Yeah, anytime you pull a under 25 out from Chelsea,
Our
it's
friend
a
Chelsea, right?
masterclass. It's a
Yeah.
masterclass.
Say what you. I was actually full with my friend when it happened, and I just brought us. Hey, look, like we said, our centre back. So I've been really into football this season. I've heard he's really highly rated. I saw as well. His aerial numbers real highly, real good, which is really good for us, right? We like those kind of players. I was like, yeah, boy. My friend is a Chelsea fan. I'm like, don't look, I see we now sign a centre back. He's like, yeah, boy. I see we signed one too. I was like, yeah, this man name is Jeremy Jacket. He said, well, how are they gonna sign Jacket? We signed Jacket. I'm like, this is the Fabrizio tweet right here, bro. It's the here we go. But yeah, no. Slot has been his press conferences have been bizarre, bro. And again, I'm willing to say it to some extent, maybe things hard and pressure piling up. But dog, like, how many times you gonna message PSG? I've mentioned PSG, like since the PSG game. No, bro, the PSG game was like a year ago, dog. Like, let it go. Um, it's just been a lack of any sort of creativity. We've been playing too defensive, even and I think something to do with the mentality of the team too, which is not something you say about Liverpool regularly. Liverpool have been known to be like one of the mentally strong teams in the league. Obviously, given the situation, things could change. But we've conceded the most amount of goals after the 90th minute of the season, which is really unlike us.
Yeah.
And again, the trend continued yesterday, and I think the week before, not the week before the week before. So yeah,
Yeah.
and his football is it's more damage mitigation right now, like he's not really trying anything up top, and again, it's a lot of individual brilliance just coming and bailing us out. So
Is
I think
there
it's really
any
time to change. Yeah,
individuals that you expected more from this season that you
yeah,
think
definitely. I
was
think
letting down?
yeah, 100%. I think yeah, we already said Mo Salah, and he's got by for me because he's Mo Salah. Cody Gakpo has been terrible. I'll never like as I've been hating him. Oh, Johnny, you saw freeze there. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Gakpo's been awful. He's been, he might stop bad and get a couple of goals, I think, but he's just not really playing with any kind of like any variation. Everybody knows he's gonna cut it. He's gonna try and shoot. He's gonna do something like this. It's not very good. I think Wits again. I'm not one of those players who I'm not one of those people who think that like at least for my club. I know for different clubs it's a different situation, but I know when we buy a player, it's like as a long term thing. It's like I don't need it to come in immediately and start to set the world alight. I think at times he could have done better. I think he's been let down a lot too. Isak, unfortunately, I think he was now coming into the gear of things, got his leg broken. Um, I think McAllister's been overall poor. I didn't think he had a too bad of a game yesterday, but he's been pretty poor over the whole season. And yeah,
Yeah.
I just think like with slots in general, I think even like Virgil's had his moments, but at the same time, stats show he's been the busiest defender in the Prem, and that's new for Virgil. That's very new. He's normally one of the players who he can rely on him for the big moments. But now he's a
I
man
know.
making a clearance every 5 seconds. It's not a good
And
a good situation to be
and
in.
that's the thing, right? You don't want him to be
Mm,
busy. Like good defenders, a good setup rather doesn't have the defenders busy
correct.
so all the time.
Exactly, it's a
You
floating
know.
setup. And speaking
So
of that, like Kanate as well hasn't been great. I know obviously his unfortunately his dad passed away. RIP to him. I don't know how that could have been impacting him, his health and stuff before. But yeah, man, just expect more from these players, and I love my players as much as I slander them. So I really hope things
everybody
pick up.
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
You mentioned there, and after this, we'll go on to the game that you think it might be time for Slot to move on. Is there
Mm.
anybody in your thinking already that you think you should be replacing
So I
Slot?
mean, the obvious choice is Xavi, right? I think we everybody's discussed that. We discussed that when Klopp left, and I was very adamant he should come in. Um, but the
Really, I
thing
don't
is,
remember that.
but Brad still mentioned to this day, but God forbid we tell him about the 20 goal prediction. Anyway, so
Ah,
this is our Brandon sub pod. But yeah, like I don't really think the managerial market is really anything appealing, right? Like we've seen Chelsea sign Leo Rosinia, which is like a very left field shout. Michael Carrick was doing really well, I know before, and he's come to the Inter.
yeah,
But I know United have a good history of high, like since Fergie have get the Inter managers kicking off really well, right?
yeah.
Nigeria market isn't that good, boy. Like for me, the ideal situation for me is Klopp come back out to retirement, you know. But I don't think he will, obviously, and that's very fair to him. So Chavi looks like the best option. People have said Dizubi.
Yeah.
I don't want Dizubi at my club. I just don't like from a character point of view. I'm not really a big fan.
I think he too chaotic, bro. Like
That's
he
what
feels
I don't know.
like
Like just that whole Marseille thing. Anyway, he kind of talking about
yeah,
certain
yeah,
Marseille
yeah,
players. I'm not a fan of that. Also, the fact that we kind of walked over Marseille without like blinking, and we played awful football. That's really disappointing, and that gives me
yeah.
the ick. But same thing, we did that to Madrid too, under Xavi and Leverkusen last season. So
I mean,
yeah.
you mentioned disappointing, right? And I think that is the first time for the season that Man City actually managed to get points in general from a losing position, and
Yeah.
it has been such a stark contrast because it did look like we was heading towards what the pattern had been for them so far this season. Where I think they
Mm,
did have a strong first half against you all. I think that
mm,
it was not that they were clear cut chance or whatever. But I do think that they had the better of the play. Admittedly, though, I do think you all should have had a penalty in the first half of this game, and then the
mm.
second half, I think you all should have a red card. So we'll get into the referee side of this as well. But
Yeah.
the second half, they look again like the trend was following. You all had a chance that Salah created. I think Ekitike
Mm,
also had another chance besides that. It felt like you all were having a run and play so much. So I felt like a culmination of
mm.
the momentum, but it really did also feel like you'll drop your pressing off and that allowed them back into the game after that goal. So given the contrast between this first half and the second half performance,
Story of the
did you
season. Story of the
also
season.
alright, I was gonna ask
Bro,
that. Did you feel like this
I
was a
wasn't bummy
bad
coming
game?
in way. Like I tell you, like the only reason we like coming into the game as like it's Anfield, and I know that doesn't account for much these days, but at the same time, Pep hasn't until yesterday won at Anfield with fans or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Which makes it even more disappointing. I think one thing we didn't play. Obviously, we didn't play great. I don't. But again, City were not that good either. Like City just very barely scared their teeth. They had a couple of chances in the first half, definitely. But I thought the
yeah.
officiating was horrible. Um,
Yeah, bro.
I know. Again, like coming from me, it can sound biased, but it's funny because United fans messaged me after the game. They're like, "Dog, like, what really went on there? How did that? I've never seen that kind of penalty given. I've never seen like I think when Gahey pulled Salah's jersey and the thing ripped, you know, no red card or anything like that. Even
Alright.
I thought I was like, what going on with this goal? Like the goal stand is a comedy of errors. But yeah, I mean, City again this season they haven't been good. Which and I think overall, well, like, the product of the Premier League has been kind of just overall kind of stagnant this season. That's a whole other thing, right? Teams playing more organized, which means that the entertainment factor is kind of fizzled out to an extent.
Yeah,
Haaland
yeah.
stopped on his first goal against at Anfield with a really poor, penalty decision. I have never seen that kind of thing given. First off, we always say like no, our whole goal in the first half is just keeping ourselves in the game. I do think we should
Yeah.
have had that penalty. Second half we tend to come out a little more attacking, and yes, Szoboszlai he's playing a right back because again we didn't buy a backup right back because our two right backs got injured. Um,
What happened to this guy, boy? Washer, what's his name? And he was trend back up at one point. I saw he's
Ramsey.
Scottish. Yeah, him. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but so he actually played when we got knocked out of the Carabao Cup. So Slot had fielded like a completely like young lineup with just fresh faces, no senior men, right? And Ramsey had played really well, and people was like, well, yeah, give him a run. And dog, again, this is the difference in Slot and Klopp. Like Slot came out, I was like, oh, we need better players than Ramsey. Like he said something to that effect. It's like, what? Like I can't imagine you Klopp saying that. He's on the bench. For me, obviously, he's gonna have to start this week coming in. I think Frimpong is back in training, so he should probably be on the bench. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I mean, second half we had a lot of chances. I was really disappointed with I think Ekitike because he kind of made his decision making. There was that one chance, the same one where he ended up missing the header. He should have scored the header firstly. Secondly, he could have passed it to Voots. And another thing too, like you can say what you want about Voots, but at the end of the day, when he's playing, I know Jen, shout out Jen, he's always agree, just get the ball to Voots, let Voots do his thing. And I don't know why they just keep refusing to do this. It happened yesterday too. He had a few good moments. He had but again, he just wasn't getting the ball enough. I think he needs to show a little more assertion because he's a very timid fella. You can tell. But he needs to kind of, hey,
Yeah.
I am here. Give me the ball. He needs to kind of show that, and I like that's like that comes with age, and authority or whatever. And yeah,
To be
boy.
fair, that actually has been my biggest takeaway from Voods so far. Is that
Mm-hmm.
I do think that like for me, KDB is at the benchmark of what the Premier League
For
best
sure.
midfielder has to be, right? And like
Mm.
I think like his personality always shone throughout the game now. Like he was an extraordinarily noticeable player on the field now. And
Yeah.
I think that is where Wirtz now, admittedly Wirtz is 23. Like by the time KDB came back into the league, I think he was
Mm.
already 24, 25 at that point in time, right? But like
Yeah, and
Wirtz
he
has been
yeah.
allowing games to bypass him. Now the thing is, when he does get on
Mm.
the ball, you do see good technique, you do see the ability to find players. I do think that he was unfortunate not to be on the receiving end of a few passes. Like we know the Ekitike one, but there was even a few others where he was probably waiting in the
Yeah.
pockets. But I think
And
that
I
that
look at his
there's
body language sometimes, and you see he's like,
yeah,
"This man passing to me," and like you could see it. And I think the thing is, boy, and I guess this is something as well we could talk about from like a perspective of if you play football, you know, if you've joined a team and the team is in like a bad state, it's very hard to kind of adjust it. Like if you join a team and the team
yeah, yeah,
losing,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like we talking just like the sweat team or whatever. Like if you play a league football or whatever, and you join a team and the team hasn't been winning, it's very difficult to impose yourself because teams will they'll try and go through the proven channels and they'll try to take on things by themselves. And I think that's where a lot of the adaptation problem we've seen happens. I think it's no coincidence that his best performances have come with Frimpong as well. And Frimpong hasn't put a foot wrong for us. I like touch wood. He's been really, really good. He's been again slandered for some reason. But like his biggest problem has been injuries. But when he's played for us, he's been really well. Um, and obviously Ekitike and Vliet's building is really nice. Two man kind of understanding. But yeah, it's just the situation he's coming to is hard. I think we need some stability, which we just haven't been able to get. Which we see in like Cookers. Cookers yesterday was really, really good. I felt. And at the beginning of the season, similar thing, he
Yeah,
wasn't
no,
having a good
I
time.
do think Lucas has grown into the season a lot actually.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
I thought he was actually very assertive yesterday. And I think
He
like
is, yeah.
this is probably like the opposite of what we wanted to see from Wood so far. Because like I do think like in the earlys, and like even like in our game versus your, like I thought it was two very
Mm,
different halves from him now. Where like
definitely, yeah. Which
it
again, that's a
looks
management
like
problem to me, but yeah.
that he looks like confidence stricken at one point, but then
Mm,
like once he gets it, he's much more willing to get tight to his man, much more willing to get stuck in, and like
mm.
that feels like such an English adage to be like that is what these players need. But
Yeah.
sometimes it really is a case of like if they are really confident, they do things faster, they do get to things faster, and
Because
I
you
do
see,
think that
that's the
moves a
thing.
lot
Like,
better.
no, as you said, and that's why I'm not really too worried about the signings he made. Like, I'm not gonna be like, I know like different fan bases would be like, boy, sell this man, boy. Like for me, it's not really a problem. For me, I feel we have ingredients that a manager could come in and look at these players and make something of it. I think because we start to see Ekatike and Isak play together with wits behind it. That's something that's there. Frimpong and Cookers, I think they've proven the wits for the most part or what they can do at the best. Leone as well, even if he tore his ACL, his first performance was really, really impressive. So
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
we've been
yeah.
recruiting. I think we need to pad out the squad definitely. It's really concerning to me. Like you see some of the things with like what they say with Slot, and like how Curtis Jones was linked to Inter Milan. That's like a huge red flag to me. Like why does Curtis Jones want to leave the club, right? Things like that. But yeah, boy, like Cookers was good yesterday. I think City. not really at their best as they've been all season.
No, well, honestly, bro, when they scored, it didn't feel like our goal was coming, right? And I mean credit
Yes,
to
yeah,
them.
it came out of nowhere. It's a deflection and then like a man on side and a tap in and yeah.
But
Mm,
I must say though, like I do think that like Salah, I didn't think he had a great first half. I thought that he had a
mm.
much more inspired
Story of
second
the
half. I don't think
season.
it was great.
He should have gotten an
But
assist for that pass to Ekitike, but
right,
yeah.
and I was gonna say Akitike right now
He was
on
poor. He was
him
really poor.
specifically. He has
Mm.
now blank versus Arsenal twice, blank versus
All the top
Atletico
half teams,
Madrid, blank
yeah.
versus Chelsea, blank versus
Yeah.
United versus Villa, Madrid, City twice, and
Yes.
Inter. And is now he does have a lot of goals so far already for y'all, but he
Mm.
has yet to show up in the big games. And now
Bro,
for
I'm cool with
reference,
that. I'm cool with that.
and I'll even give the caveat of
Mm-hmm.
I am not Gyökeres' biggest fan, bro.
I know
I am.
that.
I really am not, right? But so far in the Premier League and in the Champions League, Ekitike has scored a goal every 158 minutes, whereas Gyökeres has scored a one in every 156. And I do
Mm.
think that if it is a you go on online, that there is an extremely different public perception between the two of them. You know?
Yeah, I think
And
that's a little more obvious to describe it. Like Gyoker is supposed
and
to be
and
the
he's
front
right, and
man
Gyökeres
of yeah.
is like 4 years older than him, right?
No, but it's
And
not
that's
that though.
just
Is the situations they're in, right? Like I think the way like the Liverpool side Ekitike has found himself in and the Arsenal side like Gyöker has found themselves in a very different position. So it's like expectations are a little different now. And the way
well,
Gyökeres plays
I think
aesthetic bias, right?
expectation. Right, but I think
Yeah.
that's part of it too, right? Like, I don't
Mm.
think that sometimes the performance have been dissimilar. 'Cause, like, I honestly thought, bro, that I could take a performance yesterday was really bad. Like, I think
Yeah,
it's
I did.
probably
I
been one
was
of
very
his
pissed
worst
off.
ones. Like
Yeah.
the two times that he sized up his man and failed to dribble past him, the shots that he
Mm.
took, that
Hmm.
header, bro. Like, I
Yeah,
look at him and
yeah.
say, bro, that is a huge
That's a
chance
big
not
miss.
at
Yeah,
least put it on
we should have
target.
taken the game away there. Yeah, I agree with you. And you see, that's the next
You
thing
know?
too, where I feel again. Yeah, let's step back a little bit. He currently is the only striker we have. He's played Real minutes, which he's never played before. And another thing is too, like, I think I messaged around this time. I don't know if it was to you. It's because we were talking during the game. But I was like, no, this would have been a game for Isak. Like, you think Isak let him
Yeah,
really
yeah,
get
yeah.
away in that one, dog? Isak, and that's where I think it's funny. People are like, hey, well, they signed Ekitike and Isak was the point of signing, but this is the kind of reason why you have two players like that. Like, you have two
Yeah.
threats. You can get that kind of thing. Salah could come into the game. Well, I guess from a hypothetical point of view.
The
And
last
yeah,
thing I want to touch on before we talk more on City is that I had to ask, given that currently in the table, like we already mentioned before, right, that y'all are level on points with Brentford, but in terms of numbers, y'all are on 39 points. Chelsea right above
yikes.
y'all, only 4 points ahead.
Uh
And it does look, if
huh.
let me real, right? England going to
Yeah.
get the fifth spot, right? So you just had to get top five, right? But how
Oh,
worried on a
true.
scale
Yeah.
of 1 to
Yeah.
10 are you of making Champions League football? With the caveat of
Bro,
y'all
I
getting
don't.
fifth
I
in the
don't. I.
points.
Boy, right now you say 39 points. That's 1 point that we safe in a way from relegation. Nah, I no, I don't know. Like, I think we do need to get you. I saw somebody dive into the finances, and somebody said we're not like screwed if we don't make Champions League. Just
Mm.
because again, how stingy we've been in previous windows compared to last window,
No, but
right?
it's not about money, right? It's about prestige, right? Like,
Exactly.
nobody
So
wants to play Europa League, dog. No matter
yeah,
how much
correct,
Chelsea fans want to hype up their Conference League from last year. It's not like they
bro.
wanted to
They're
beat it.
world
They didn't want to beat
champions.
it.
They're world
Yeah, true.
champions, bro. What are you talking about? Anyway, so now, boy, I am concerned, boy. I'm really concerned. I think at this rate, we're more likely to win the Champions League and qualify through that than come top five. Boy. Serious thing.
Yeah.
Things are. But okay, so this gonna sound kind of bad, and I obviously like equal with, but I do think Villa will just fade away. Like, oh, the classic Villa, LeBron James fade away.
Yeah, yeah,
Every
yeah.
year, you just get the fade away from Villa, and then
And we
maybe that could
started to
open
get
up or something.
somewhere, right? We started to get somewhere because
Right.
they haven't
Yes.
won any of their last three games. So,
Right.
you know.
Yeah. And you see, like that kind of thing is where you kind of just like you blink and you say, all right, maybe.
And then there's
Um,
United, who, I mean, I guess we'll
yeah,
talk about a little bit more later on.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean,
Um,
I'm so unplugged right now, bro. Like, whatever.
on the City side, though, obviously, it is a absolutely huge result for them. I think most people thought that if they did fail to win this weekend, that the title race was in essence over. That this does keep it alive to some extent.
City
Me
pool.
personally, I was neither here nor there in terms of like
Mhm.
obviously the bigger the
Mhm.
gap, I would be happier, right? I'm not gonna pretend no, but I still felt like as somebody said on our pod, right, and that Arsenal on 56 points right now. Nobody
Mhm.
has ever won the league on 56 points. With the saying that you have to go on and win the games. Like regardless of what the opposition does, we still had
Mhm.
to go on and win our games. Right? The title race was not ending today, no matter what happened.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so it was more a case of City keeping pace. But you can tell me if you think differently. I did not see anything from this to suspect that this is still something that City gonna turn the point in. Rather than I think they took advantage of an extraordinarily chaotic last 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, City has to do better than the other teams in front of them, right? Which again is very easy to do when the referees seem to be favored you like that, and you can spend
Yeah.
300 million every window. But people just only talk about the other team doesn't spend that once.
Yeah.
I think I was talking
Bro,
to
they spent
someone
a
that,
hundred million in January to sign the best winger and defender outside the big six, bro.
bro, like that's literally what I was saying. Like I was talking to an associate yesterday, and I'm like, they don't really follow as much in British football, let's say. So talking, I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, well, I talking, I say, well, Semenyo didn't really have a good game. I thought Semenyo was kind of bad yesterday. It wasn't great.
Yeah, I didn't think he had a
And
good
they're
game.
like, wait, Semenyo played for City, and I'm just like, similarly
I
unplugged
actually
to me,
thought
right? And
I actually thought Marmoush was quite lively and I did like seeing him play
he's
too.
a shot spammer, you know that. So
Well, yeah.
yeah, and I mean, Gahey should have probably been sent off. He had a
Yeah.
good
And I
moment
mean
against
that's a big
Ekitike.
no but that's a big point in the game though, eh? And again I know
Yeah,
we didn't really talk about it, but like that is dog soda. Like people can say what they want about Salah's form or whatever, bro. Like you
yeah.
1010% pull the man before he enter the box, bro. Like he's going to
Bro, form
score.
has
Like
nothing to do with dogs though, because like,
yeah,
why am I,
exactly.
like, I think it
So
was really badly officiated. And the thing is, it's kind of bad because again, we're not playing great football, but at the same time, you need the officials to do their job sometimes now. Like maybe give Mal Bly somewhere, and that would have been
no,
nice.
but you know what's the funny thing, right? This is the absolute
Hmm.
irony of Rodri going on TV last week and complaining about refereeing when it
Yeah,
is that they got a
that killed
marginal
me,
call
bro.
go against them, you know, and the following week, look at what happened, bro. And again,
That
like not to turn this into a referee conspiracy pod, but up to now, we have not gotten a replay of what actually had happened right before they had get their third goal, which was the sellout, right in the box where
yeah.
all these men flying in. I saw a clip of it today. I saw somebody clear out keys here. But again, like
Right, that's another thing. I up to like it was only after the game I saw Alvaro Buffon saying, "Wait, has anybody seen a replay of this?" And I was like, "That's true." Like I remember the
yeah.
appeal or whatever. So I mean, I don't know, and it's funny to me the narrative around City because even Pep, what really killed me with Pep coming out and saying, "Boy, why go? He can't play any final." Bro, you signed the best defender in the Prem outside of the top six, and you're vexed he can't play any final, and you already Semedo already the rule already changed enough for Semedo to play. Dog, you write
Yeah.
now letter and all kind of thing like, bro, how many charges all they want? But you know them City fans don't really care about that. So
In terms of individuals to focus on again, look, I think Bernardo should have given away a penalty. I made that clear
he
already.
had a good game. This is
Uh,
probably his best
but
performance of the
I think he
season.
had his best performance of the season. And again,
First
that's not
goal of
just
the
because he
season.
scored, but I think overall he had a really good game. He had created a few nice chances for those around him as well.
Mm.
Donnarumma with some huge saves, bro, like
Just
massive
that one,
saves.
just the one save I would say at the end there of the deflection.
Well, I should also say that he came off his line
Uh,
really well for a few because it had, I think, two crosses that he came early to clear that I think was good opportunities for Liverpool as well. But again,
mm-hmm.
like I don't think I saw anything. This was more City keeping the hope alive rather than to me
It wasn't a great performance, bro.
yeah.
It was a bit
However,
special.
again,
Yeah.
I'm saying this with caveat of anybody winning an Anfield, especially when they've got
Not
so
right now,
long
bro.
to win.
Everybody would have Anfield. Come on, get your points.
Well, I can't say everybody that because we was far more against all this season.
Yeah, I don't know
But
how that's gonna how that
but
happened, but
um
yeah.
moving on from this though is I still don't see other than name much
Mm-hmm.
to say fearful that they could go on this run. Like I think everybody's banking on the name and pep and whatever that okay well bro they're gonna use this as encouragement to go on a run and this as encouragement and like I
It's
hear
the
that from
credit in the bank, bro. It's the credit that they have
bro
City has in the bank.
I heard that they was gonna use the United Arsenal result as right. This is fuel that they're gonna go on a run, and the next week they draw the Spurs, and then now
Yeah.
this is the fuel, and it's like I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I'm saying
Mm.
like we do so much credit in the bank analysis for them, And look, I understand. That's the nature of the game, right? And I'm not expecting that fast now because I ain't there until they do it. They have no credit in the bank to use, right? But like
Mm-hmm,
we're
mm-hmm.
doing so much now to avoid what we see in front of us. And the thing is that for like 30 minutes of that second half, it was really bad from them. It was
Yeah.
really bad from them. And even when they had the momentum in the first, outside of the time Bernardo slipped in Haaland, it wasn't any clear cut chances that they
Mm-hmm.
made either. And so I left to be seen. I just want to make a note for it and then not make an appearance
I was
again.
about to say that we didn't chat on that, but yeah.
And
Yeah.
look, I mean, guys, ever since Patrick hasn't made an appearance now, while you know that we've been very open and letting you all know that Foden is not living up to standard. And look, I this is probably one indication of like, I saw somebody talk about, like Arsenal the greatest squad in this league and whatever, right? But bro, if you watch the bench that City had yesterday, yeah, and that's without a bunch of the injured players not being there. That is a big riches that they have, right? And
Yes.
Foden is somebody that benefits from the luxury of he doesn't have to be dependent on, and he will receive all the plaudits and when things are going good. But talk about actually, like bro, they were chasing a goal yesterday, right? They were chasing a
Mm.
goal. He not once
Yeah.
turned to Foden,
He wasn't
and
in
he's
anybody's
somebody who,
thoughts.
ironically, actually scored in Anfield once before. Like
Yeah.
he's not somebody that he actually turns to. And I think that even when you watch Southgate for England, what you want to say about him or not, Southgate always used to take off Foden when his things was getting sticky to bring on somebody else,
Yeah,
bro.
I
And
mean,
I think
we know the
ultimately
Foden
these
cycle, bro.
managers shows you boy that the players that they think they could trust or trust in rather when it is things get sticky to turn things around for them. Unfortunately, he's just
We
not
know
one of
the
those
Foden
players,
cycle. We know the Foden
you
cycle.
know.
We can put
Yeah,
it
well,
up on
just
screen
now,
if you could. But
just how we got here that maybe his
his
best
best
position is striker,
position is left wing,
and
bro.
Haaland disrupted him and that kind of thing. All right, guys. So we move on this
Man.
game. So we're gonna choose two players from this game. I would like to put forward Bernardo Silva
Yeah.
as one of the two. But and
Uh,
probably Haaland for the second one. I guess could he get goal and assist? I don't think he had a
mm,
great game. I do
bro.
think that within the header, is something. But I will let it hit out if it wasn't put he outside of that one foul. He did have a
You
good
see, that's the
game.
thing for me, right? Like, I would probably give Bernardo, but I'm being bitter because he should have been probably, considered a penalty.
Well then
I
maybe it's even more applicable that we give two men that should I give away two
so
penalties.
I'm gonna give Bernardo, and I'm
uh,
gonna give Sabotzlai
right, cool.
because
I can
I
get
think,
that. That's no problem.
yeah, and we'd have to put him at right back. So,
Well, no, well,
yeah.
depending on how the team fall out, if we had to move them around,
Mm,
we'll see how we do it,
yeah.
right? Cool.
I pull it
All
up.
right,
I
guys,
pull it
let's.
up for Mob in the corner just to make sure I call in everybody name correctly, right? But yeah,
So next up, we're
yeah.
gonna have Manchester United versus Tottenham. And did you get to watch
Bruno
the game, Euan, by
Fernandes.
chance?
I didn't watch
Because
the game, but yeah.
I think I'm gonna have different opinions. A lot of people here, as I did last week when they beat Fulham, right? But I'll be
Yeah.
honest, guys. When it was 11v11, again, I was not that impressed by United. It's gonna
Bro,
sound
you
like
know
I
one
am
thing
super
Romero like to
hatred.
do? Romero hits the worker
Yeah,
against
yeah,
top
yeah.
sixes. He hits to have something to do. So he like to walk off the field and so yeah.
I thought, bro, when it was 11v11, I thought it was actually a very even game between the two. I
Mm-hmm.
actually thought that at times that Spurs had United pen back, not for long periods or whatever, but I thought Spurs were playing through the midfield actually pretty well. And ultimately, look, United win. They are 4 wins in a row. I cannot take that from them. But
Mm.
outside of the City performance, I've yet to see one that I felt very much convinced that Carrick should be in contention for the job. That's just me. That when somebody listens to this, they're gonna say John being a hater, and I'm gonna have to live with it. I still expect them to beat West Ham midweek, but I'm still yet to see that performance that make me think like, okay, cool, well, they actually going somewhere with this. It's not just riding the wave of emotions, good, everything nice, Carrick there, blah blah blah, and all that stuff, right? You know. So yeah, that is me. I don't know if you have anything you want to say on this one.
I think results again is all that really matters. But again, it's just something that happens with United. We know that when United have an interim manager, we've seen the form kind of turn around.
Mm.
Um, I think it's interesting to see like Mainu again kind of hitting that form. That people talk about it. Um, and yeah, I mean, we'll see how far it goes. whether they'll be willing to repeat what they did, kind of, I guess, with like Ole, where Ole
Yeah,
was the interim
exactly.
guy, and maybe maybe that might be in
It
the back
feels
of
like
the
Ollie though,
mind,
right?
right?
It does feel like
Yeah,
Ollie.
yeah. So I mean, we'll see. It's still early days. I hope that man get a haircut,
It'll be
but
so funny if he get his haircut and then after that it just completely fall off for them, man.
that, yeah,
2025 wins and yeah. Look,
yeah.
to highlight my good performances, I thought Licha was really good again. I
Hmm.
thought Mbamo took his shot well, and I do think that he's doing a really good job of leading the line. I didn't think Cunha had that great of a performance. I thought Ahmad was okay. I thought Bruno was good as you expect him to be.
Yeah, I think like Bruno or Dalo, right? Like even Mainu, but like probably Bruno, I guess, for the goal.
Yeah, bro. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. We can put forward Bruno. Nice. So far, two Portuguese midfielders.
Hmm.
All right, cool. Keeping it moving. Look, guys. Wait. When Salek listen after this pod, he got me stups it right through it. But the question is it the most Cole Palmer thing to do a no show in a semi final, but it's called a hat trick with two
Bro,
penalties
well, you
against
see, you
Wolves?
have you have two of the biggest school farmer truthers on this podcast right now. So you know what's funny though? I saw, well, one, we can talk about this as a separate thing, bro. But Fabrizio legitimacy has like fallen off a cliff. Like he's
Oh, a
using
long
AI
time.
images,
Yeah.
whatever. He obviously still well connected, but it was really telling that he posted a graphic saying that Cole Palmer scored a hat trick, and he put all the goals as penalties in his graphic. Like it said Cole Palmer, pen Cole Palmer. Bro, it's been, I think he was like 3 days off a year of no pen goals in the Prem or something like that until yesterday or the day before, and he scored a tap
Wow.
in. So no, I will not be giving him any kind of thing their way. We'll give it. I think Caicedo, if I remember correctly, had a good game, right? And Cucurella got an assist.
Oh,
Uh,
oh God, bro. The man I need to score a hat trick. I feel we should still give it. You know.
nah, you're not really a hater like me, but I realize that.
Nah, not.
You
The idea a
scored,
hat trick is a hat trick, bro. If Harvard score a hat trick tomorrow of penalties, you're not thinking of that running. You know.
by
But look, that makes it all wins for a senior since he's taken over, except against one team. Who was that team? All right, against the Arsenal. That is the only team that he failed to beat. Two acts at this point in time. Brandon Duckin, when it is that his team get the hold of a semi final against the Arsenal, where his former player scored again against them. You know, but
yeah,
look, it
maybe
is
take that one up with
a good.
him.
But as I
Yeah.
said last week, Euan, that
Mhm.
when it is that Maresca got sacked, bro, it did look like Chelsea's season was in danger of starting to fall apart or
Yeah.
sack walk, whatever you want to take it is. But they do seem to have
I
really
dropped my headphones
recovered.
away. Repeat that.
I say it did look like they
Yeah.
had a potential for the season to fall apart now when
Yes.
Maresca was fired.
Yeah.
But they are in the top five.
Really
They
quick,
are
right? Yeah.
only 4 points behind Aston Villa. And so
Hmm.
they are in a good position. So anything you want to say on them before we wrap up here?
No, I think I like Rosinha. Like for all the LinkedIn jokes, I think
Yeah, me
he seems
too.
like a nice dude. His touch is horrific, but his touch was also really bad as a footballer too.
Correct.
But yeah, Chelsea is unfortunately they keep ticking along. So I mean, they probably will just continue to do that, and I
Yeah.
think they should definitely make up for like comfortably. I think they'll like when Villa, especially when Villa, kind of as I say, the classic Unai Emery fade away. Yeah, we'll see what goes on.
Yeah, cool. And the last big six side before we rattle through the non big six ones is the Arsenal as we won at
But
home
for that one,
to
we can take
Sunderland.
Gyökeres, right? Like definitely.
Nah, bro, I have not played Joker.
But put Gyökeres like over Haaland.
Nah, but
Oh
he's
yeah,
so
oh
mean.
Zubimendi.
I
Yeah.
was thinking Zubimendi. I thought Trossard had a fantastic game as well. I mean, he's only
Mm-hmm.
one assist, so it might be hard to include. But I thought he had a fantastic game.
I'll be
But
real. Wait,
look,
did Gyökeres come off the bench in this game too, right?
yeah, he did, and
Nah,
scored
well then
too.
for sure I'll give it to Zubimendi then.
Yeah. I put
Yeah.
Zubi as
I
well.
thought the
Look,
midfielders
but
there. How are we level looking right now?
well, so far I put in Palm on the right wing, and then that is just
Hmm.
with basically midfield full up. So it's like would had to be in right back in this team.
Yeah, fair enough.
Um, but
Yeah.
just on the performance itself, I was really happy with it. Look, at the end of the day, Sunderland is one of those teams, like many teams, gonna just come and sit back. And one thing I have been begging for is for players to start their own moment, bro. Take shots from far, try something, do something because You're not going to unsettle these teams every week with set pieces, right? You have to be able to
Mhm.
own moments. And look, men might not want to say it yet. We gotta wait until we see how the season concludes. But I do think that loss to United might really turn out to be our Conte moment where things shifted in the long run. Because since
Okay.
then, Odegaard hasn't started a game. Some of that is down to injury, but some
Oh,
of that
dear
is down to
God.
choice because he's been on the
Yes.
bench for a few of them. And
Hmm.
since then, I saw 3 goals scored in the Champions League, all of which was scored or assisted by attackers. I saw 4 goals scored against Leeds, all of which except for 1 goal by Zuman. He was either scored or assisted by attacking players. I saw a goal
Hmm.
scored by Kai Havertz against Chelsea, and then once again this weekend, goals scored or assisted by all attackers except the 1 goal by Zubimendi. And I say that to say, like I've seen since then a change in approach. We've been a lot more direct. And
Hmm.
when I say change in approach, I just think it's a change back to what we was doing before they got earlier. True. I just don't think he's naturally a direct minded player. And without him in the team, there's a lot more onus on these players to be a lot more front footed. And yeah, saw that pan out in the game. So yeah, we're gonna go into many for this. Cool. Let me rattle through some non-big six sides here. So one of the games of the weekend actually was Newcastle versus Brentford, where Brentford won it late. And look, we mentioned
Hmm.
already that Brentford are level on points with you all having a fantastic season, but Newcastle by Euan. They have a horror time, bro.
Bro,
Like
well, the way that they
it
played last week when we played them, like, yeah. I mean, you can't be playing against Liverpool. This Liverpool that
I
badly,
mean, they
bro.
are on 33 points. They are down to 12th in the
Down there, right behind
table.
us.
I
Yeah.
mean, they are only 4 points
Bro.
ahead of Leeds. You know, like
Leeds
there's
had a good
nothing
week.
much there. And Leeds did have
Hmm.
a good week. So I mean, what you have anything at all you want to say about these two teams?
I think this is probably the last chance for them to kind of cement something and build on it because I think Isaac leaving was a real kind of slide at us moment. I think now we'll see Gumayresh and maybe Tonali bust out too, right? Which is like two of
Yeah,
the big people in the thing. So yeah, it's interesting for them that they haven't really kicked off from the Carabao Cup win. If only they could hold on to. Well, they were supposed to like they supposed to be starting a striking 4-4-2 of Ekitike and Isak, right? That was the plan this summer, but we decided to take them on all the points. But yeah, I mean, I think Brentford is really where everything really shines. Keith Andrews came in as a relatively unknown guy. He's a set piece coach, and he's been fantastic. And Michael Coyote has been a
yeah,
revelation. Igor Thiago is up and man, this. But they've been really good, bro. They've been really impressive, and it's good, I think, to see that kind of data approach kind of succeed. So I think
yeah.
from them, I know people say Bruno Guimaraes, and he had a goal and assist in the game, right?
Well,
If
I
I
actually
remember
was gonna say
correctly.
Utara because outside of
Yeah, I was.
scoring and assisting,
Yeah,
if I remember right, he did play a big part in them leading up to winning the penalty as well. So I was cool with Utara
yeah,
leading
and then
them.
85-minute winner, bro. I was gonna say like I'm not gonna give Gumire shit. I'll give it to Dago Taro. He had a really good game. I think he deserves
Yeah,
that position. So as one
cool,
of the forwards, I guess. Yeah.
nice. Next up, we're gonna go with West Ham win away to Burnley. West Ham, look, bro, it might be 99%, no, 99% faith, 1% chance, but you have the opportunity to do the funniest thing ever on Tuesday, guys. So please do it for us. But West Ham subtly have been creating a bit of form. They've won 3 of the last 4. One of the
Hmm.
star men in this is actually Somerville, who scored
Hmm.
again for a fourth game running. However, I would like to put Diouf into it. He got the assist.
So,
He
so,
had a
bro,
clean sheet assist.
I agree with like so is it between him and Hermanson because Hermanson I think he pulled out like 5 saves. Wait,
So I
so
was thinking, if not Hermanson in goal, I
who's
was
the other
thinking
keeper?
Pickford for the
Pickford.
Everton 2-1
Then
because
what did
I
he do in
think
that game?
well, he
I'm
had
not.
3 saves, and his expected goals against was 1.67.
Wow.
So I thought
Okay.
that was pretty good. But
Yeah.
I cool with anyone. So if you want to put him on, so we can just get somebody else from the
No,
other
I
team
think
as well.
I think we could put Diouf. I like Diouf as well, Afcon champion too, and we can put Pickford.
Cool. All right, and just on that, look, that game looked like it was going for Fulham for most of the match. And then out of nowhere, bro, these men pulled 2 back. I mean, to be fair, it's kind of unfair that we have so much midfielders that Lewis Hall not going to be included because he actually did score and enforce the own goal. So, but I
Hmm.
mean, Everton have been a kind of Jekyll and Hyde side, but they back up to 8.
Damn,
They only 6 points off Chelsea, bro. Like I mean,
two
like
points off
I know what
us.
you're saying about. I
Right.
completely am here to hear that the league entertainment value hasn't been there, but I think that this has been the most compressed and competitive the league has
Yeah,
been
yeah, for sure. I think every team
in
is
a
more
while.
organized, right? Which lead into the product being a little more stagnant, so it's harder for
Yeah,
goals to get scored, right?
and bro, I think it's the most evident when it is that you look at Europe, right? That these English teams are doing extremely well in Europe.
They're
But
dominating.
why is it then now is not translating in the league? It's because it's more competitive in the league. But
Yes,
then when they go to
exactly. Yeah.
Europe, they could overwhelm these teams with their ability to do so. I mean, like people talk about like
Hmm.
not to bring it back to Arsenal, but like, bro, when it is you watch Arsenal in Europe, bro, we score 3 and 4 every game. And why is
I'm
that? Bro?
telling you,
Is
though.
these those teams in Europe actually trying to play against us. And when you try, like, bro, men don't want to hear what Liam Rosenior say, right? But Liam was talking the truth in it. If Chelsea had come to Arsenal and opened up from minute one and tried to be direct and whatever, dog,
You
that
get
was
cup.
going to get pumped. Like, this
Yeah.
guy get pumped, dog, But
They have the
people
quality.
don't want to
Yeah.
hear that, right? What game we
Mm.
leaving off from this day? Oh, Bournemouth 1-1 Aston Villa. Look, guys, it is 2026 for some guys to try after 2016 because apparently the mannequin challenge was still alive and well.
No,
If
man, see when you press
it,
it, you just see a man spamming L1 there, trying to switch, and
dog,
you
trying to
just
switch
go.
to Dignity and it wasn't changing,
Oh
dog.
my god,
And the
bro.
funniest part of that clip was Dignity. I was like, well, what they wanted me to do? What? How about move, bro? But it was another game of drop points by Villa, and it does see, and they only created 4.4 expected goals in this stuff. Like, it actually wasn't that great from them, and it
Mhm.
was that more that Emi Martinez kept them in this game. Probably Emi Martinez might have been the better pick in this, but
Oh shoot, yeah, he did make a lot. He makes 7 saves. So I just checked it there. So
yeah,
yeah, maybe
bro.
let's put
Actually,
in
here,
Martinez. I will
yeah,
put
yeah,
Dewsbury
I'll
Hall,
put
but it's not defender, no, I don't. So
if it is up playing Drewsbury Hall, wait, nah, but I feel like that overcomplicating it though. Here, somewhere we gonna pull a defender from Everton here real fast. You see, we can like
um,
go get our own goal ball. So our sister Drewsbury Hall. I already have a left back. So here what boy, Michael Keane boy, somehow you scam your way into the team again for 2 weeks in a row, boy. Who would have thought? Who would have
that's
thought?
hilarious,
Huh?
though. That's actually
Get 2
Michael
weeks in a
Keane.
row,
Michael
boy.
Keane gonna be checking his reels one day. You can see a random Trinidadian had him 2 through every season. He's getting team with him. Like, what the hell going on here, man?
He got shown us in his next contract negotiation. Be like, look at this.
Look,
I've been
this
performing.
this therapy podcast here has been putting me in a team of the week.
But look,
Clearly,
Villa, as you mentioned, having some regression to the mean. And look, I won't lie, I won't like. I didn't really like the Tammy Abraham signing. Like, I liked it on vibes
I
because I
figure
think it
what
would be
it
very
is.
funny when the man
Yeah.
scores his 2 of his 3 goals for the season when he scored against Chelsea. But
Oh my
besides
god.
that,
This
it
started, didn't start it.
no, they started
Yeah.
one because he was terrible last week against Brentford.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, then Bournemouth, yeah, well, I don't really know what to say for the summer Bournemouth. But they lost. I do think that they did hit that threshold that these clubs just hit, boy, where there's only so much
Yeah.
of these good players you can lose and still be good.
Bro, but Ryan might be him, bro. That finish was
No,
good.
no, that was insane technique on that
That finish
finish.
was real good. Was it up? I don't
And
know if
then
you all saw that man tweet last week when Ekitike scored the goal. He's like, the distal phalanx come across the field. You saw that tweet?
yes, I did. When he did, when Ekitike did his best Fernando Torres impression.
Yes,
Like
yeah.
that, and it was actually very cool. Do
Mm.
you think they are like, bro? I don't actually think they stylistically are like, but
They have
I
like some similarities, you know. It's the kind of some of the suaveness, and I think like the way they kind of maneuver with the ball is very similar. Because I think they both like similarly sized too, right? But yeah, I mean, like, there are clear differences. Like Ekitike reminds me, um, it's really tough to call. Like I think like Henry is the player you'd like him to play the most, like, right? So, but he still has ways
right,
to go. Obviously, Ekitike the sky's the limit with him, so we'll
yeah.
see.
Right.
Yeah,
And the last 2 games is that Crystal Palace ended their winless streak
yeah, I
at
didn't even watch that
Brighton
game. Yeah,
in the Bird Derby. I see Dean
yes,
Henderson giving it large at the end of the game, and Evan Gassan making his debut got an assist
all
7
right.
minutes into his debut for
Do we need a defender
Sarah.
though?
No, we do. And the person I'm gonna put forward is Lacroix, who had
Well,
I
bro,
think it was
I was actually gonna put
15
James Justin from
defensive.
Leeds though.
James just from Leeds. Okay. Because
Yeah.
I was Noel. So here's what I was willing to do. I was willing to put Lacroix in from here. No, I know he only scored once, but he's been in
Mm-hmm.
a insane run of form. His puts
But let me take
Calvert
out
Lewin.
Keane. Let me take out Keane, boy, and put James Justin and LaCroix.
So, but then I need a striker. If I take it out Keane from the Everton game,
No, we have Otaro.
he on the left.
Put Dewsbury Hall on the put Bernardo on the left and Dewsbury Hall the 10.
All right, cool. I can live with that. All right,
Cool.
all right. So Keenan, Drewsbury Hall. I taking out Keane and I playing James Justin. Bro, you wouldn't believe it, but I actually find it low. He kind of saw that James Justin playing for Leeds. And I
Yeah,
know
boy,
that
crazy.
that sounds bad, but I used to really rate this one now. But then he had like so much injuries though, and I just feel like,
But he was in Trent and James conversations a couple of years back, you know.
yeah.
So yeah.
All right, guys, cool. And so with that, oh wow, I just got a message. I must sweat actually on. I didn't think we was actually going to get enough, man.
Damn,
But
I'm on
that's
my
good.
way.
That's great. All right, guys. So your team of the week for this week is Emi Martinez in goal. You have a back four of
Ooh.
Sobosai, James, Justin, Lacroix, and Diouf. You have a midfield four, or three rather, of Zubimendi, Bernardo's. I need to start this over because I actually need this for the recording. I kind of mess up what I was saying.
No worries, no worries.
So, guys, you have Emi Martinez in goal, and you have Soboslai, Lacroix, James Justin, and Diouf as in backline. In midfield, you have Zubimendi and Bruno Fernandes with Keenan Drewsbury Hall.
Finance.
And, and then you have Bernardo Silva on one wing, Palma on the next wing, and Utara on top. And that's your team of the week for this week. And as we just wrap this up, we're going to just touch on some things in Europe real quickly. Is just essentially Real Madrid won 2-0 this weekend. I believe it was Mbappe and
Valencia.
Pereira scored the goals against Valencia.
Yep.
Yamal
It's a
scored a
good goal match there, watch
golazo
it.
after missing a sitter in the same game. Atletico Madrid lost 1-0 at Real Betis. Anthony Alvarez scoring. And I also think Bayern Munich failed to win this
No,
weekend.
no, no. They just got a hat trick.
Oh, they did. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
they
Right.
just got a
All
hat
right. No,
trick,
no,
I
no.
think,
Yes,
right?
yes, 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 yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. 5-1 against Hoffenheim. Did you see Carl attempt to find the man on the line and completely kick out the ball?
Dog, you see the defender thumbs him up after, dog. Like,
Yeah,
no,
like,
wait, that,
well done, bro.
since
Well
this
done.
one come out and work for Madrid, dog, it's not been looking good
Yeah,
for him,
boy.
you know,
They look
like,
good. I still really like him, though. Sorry to say, bro. When he played
we
against
still
us,
get on there.
I
Yeah.
was so impressed, bro. He's so, so good. And the last
Mhm.
thing is, I can't remember what's his name for this derby, but when it's PSG and Marseille play, the PSG whooped them. Like
Yeah.
whoop. Like
We
Dembele
love that.
was
We love
on
that.
fire
A win
with
against
them.
Marseille is a win for humanity, guys. Remember that.
Uh,
Remember that.
and in terms of the action in the Syria, even though against Motley's
Inter
protest for me
one,
not
right?
to bring these things up, Napoli won despite going a man down with Hoyland scoring twice. Inter
Damn.
won 5-0 and Juventus drew 2-all, and AC Milan is the one team that I am missing. I'm not actually seeing them in this round. Am I too good?
Did they not play?
Bro, I'm actually not seeing them within this round.
Let's see. So the last game,
So
I checking it on FootMob. That
which
they
Tuesday gone?
okay, so they didn't play the weekend then.
I guess not.
Not
Okay,
sure
cool.
why.
They didn't play.
Yeah. You see, you'll just
And
sign our extension.
bro, that's so sour. I actually really told me to try it.
Pain, boy. Pain.
But well, Milan have a game to play, but they are currently 8 points behind in second to Inter, who look to be running away with the title.
Wow.
And in that same year, two English clubs went to their grounds and beat them. So you know what? They could hold that. And yeah, that's more or less
Yeah,
it for me
that's it
for
there.
this weekend. Euan, thank you very much
Yes,
for
sir.
coming on the show, bro. Really
It's a
appreciate
pleasure.
it. Guys, for what it's worth,
Thanks to the therapy
we
session.
was trying to get Virgil here, but
But you
he was
wanna come
busy.
and tell me how the referee make a good decision and all kind of thing, and then
Yeah, yeah,
I would have trip up there, like,
yeah.
boy, huh, you know, City never cheat.
And with that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed it. We know this is coming out a day later, but thank you guys for always being here. Catch you guys next time. See you soon. Take it easy. Later.